Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Art 192, Photoshop/digital imaging for the fall semester of 2021. Today, we are going to continue to watch videos on various techniques for restoring damaged photographs. But in addition to that, I want to introduce the final assignment, which is to retouch, restore a digital photo, a damaged photograph. Some of you may have difficulty finding photographs. I think the best ones are the ones that you can get from your family, and that you can scan those or simply take a digital photograph of them and work on them in Photoshop. So if you have a smartphone and you can get the lighting even, and simply just snap a photograph of that and then bring it into Photoshop and work on it there, that would be the best thing to do. If you have a scanner and you have an actual photograph that you want to scan and bring it into Photoshop, that will work really well too. That's your best choice. When you do scan it, make sure that it's at least 200 pixels per inch. And it would be at that time that I would probably enlarge the photograph and make it a little bit bigger than the one you would choose to print. This particular exercise sometimes is good since we're going to end the semester around Christmas time with the holidays. And they make good gifts for family and relatives. If you want to retouch, restore a photograph from, your grandparents or your parents or brothers or sisters or something that's old. Could be a color photograph or a black and white. It really doesn't matter. But if it has creases in it, if it has water damage, has anything that needs to be retouched, this would be a good time to pick one of those. However, if you don't have access to any of those, then this would be, these are some of your options. You can always do a Google search, and I'm going to show you that. But I think to avoid the temptation of copying what somebody else has done, I think your best choice is to go to the Library of Congress. And that's what I've done here. I did a Google search and search Library of Congress, and we can go to the home of the Library of Congress. And there are these other services that are available here. Free to use and reuse, and we have digital collections. Well, I clicked on digital collections, and you can see that a bunch of them pop up. The ones that I have in store for you from their digital library. Let's see, let me move some of these out of the way. Or here, old daguerreotypes. So these are free to use. They come in fairly large file sizes so that they're very workable for us. So for example, here's one to the left, a self-portrait of Robert Cornelius taken in 1839. So that's when photography was first developed. And if I click on that image, you can see that it brings it up. And it really is not in very good condition. This would be a challenging photograph to retouch or restore. And you can see that there are more resources down below that you have to choose from. You can download either this one, or you can download any of them, really. But then they give you a choice. Now, the smallest ones are the ones that we don't want, the smallest file sizes. These are JPEGs. So, but they also have GIFs or GIFs, however you want to pronounce it. They have larger JPEGs, but the most desired one, you can see that it's considerably larger. It would be 12.8 megabytes, a TIFF file. Okay, so that's megabytes, not kilobytes. The TIFF files are the best file formats to use. So if you select that and you simply click on Go, it's going to go to ask me. I want to open it with preview, and I can do that. and it will download and open in preview, and then I can save it and open it in Photoshop and work with it. Now, there's some other photographs as well that work very well. See, here it is in preview. Now, this would be a really tough one to retouch, restore. So you'd probably want to review some of the videos that I've made available to us and to work with those, okay? In attempting to do this. This is really, really tough. Okay, so that's one possibility. Work from the Library of Congress. That was one example. There's others that we have here that you can work from that are Civil War photographs. Most of these are old ones, but here's another one here. Theodore Roosevelt reading old soldier, the old soldiers. And if you click on that one, okay, you can see that parts of it, the photograph have been destroyed along the edges. It's faded. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot to retouch, restore. You can try to clean up the edges and fix the missing parts. That's what I would do. There's also writing on it that you would want to remove. You also want to correct the degree of lightness and darkness and that sort of thing. If you want to add a tint to it afterwards, you can. So that's another good source. So again, go to the Library of Congress. And here's another one here for use and reuse, free to use and reuse sets. These aren't quite as good. Here's one of hats. Most of these are pretty decent. If we click here on Lillian Russell, one of her photographs, it's already a very clean photograph. It just needs minimal retouching, mainly using curves, using levels and maybe brightness and contrast and that sort of thing. And then you're pretty much done. But again, you have these options down here, the TIFF file, and it's quite large. It's 137 megabytes. It's quite large. And then you can go ahead and scale it down from there. Now, if you can't find any suitable photographs there in Library of Congress, then the other ones that I suggest is, let me find it here. I want to go ahead and close some of these real quick. There we go. So I just simply did a Google search and I looked up old damaged photographs, but you can see many of these have already been retouched. If you want to use them as a guide, you can. And the next thing that you want to do, if you do pick one of these photographs to retouch, restore, is that what you need to do is you need to click on filter. And then what you want to do over to the left under file size is you want to pick the extra large files. You don't want small files. Okay. And then that will, hold on here, that will enable you to find photographs that are suitable. Now here's one, a good one that has not been retouched, restored. It has cracks, it has tears. One of the cracks is over his eyebrow, but that can be easily retouched using a variety of the tools and techniques that we've learned so far. You can repair his sweater, and the background is very easy to do. Also, you're going to need to adjust brightness, contrast, adjust levels, adjust, a variety of things. That would be a good one to use. And you can see that the size of it, it's not terribly large, but it's 1128 by 1200 pixels. So it's not going to be, extremely large, but you need to be careful that if you pick something like this, here's a before and after. Okay. So if you just take one of these and then substitute the other one and think that I'm going to rate it based on what you've done, then you are sadly mistaken. Because what you need to do when you are retouching and restoring these photographs is that you need to make sure that you Send to me either in Canvas or on Google Drive or shared Google Drive folder. Make sure that you send to me the Photoshop file. I don't want a JPEG, I don't want a GIF, I don't want a PNG. But then do not collapse the layers. Make sure that you keep all of the layers so that I can see your progress from the original to your finished version. Okay, that's really important. I want to see the steps that you take from beginning to end. And some of it may be a little bit redundant, but that's okay. And then in the end, if you wish to colorize, now, if you recall from Monday, I showed you some of the neural filters. If you want to try a neural filter that takes a black and white photograph and colorizes it and give it a go, why not? See, that's one of the new tools that are available to you. Here's another good one for retouching and restoring. Again, the damage that's done on the dress and the hair, easy to restore. This is another really good one. Okay, so that's just done under a Google search. But again, make sure that under filter that you pick extra large. Those are the only ones that you want. And that when you send me the final file, that it needs to be a Photoshop file, and then I need to see all of your steps. And that's it. Do any of you have any questions today who are here about that, about the final assignment? I know I'm receiving some of the digital paintings that you guys have done. Some of them look really spiffy. They're really cool. I'm anxious to look at them this weekend, and I'll be grading them and returning the grades to you. No? No questions? Okay, so that's the only thing that I had for our specific class to talk about. Because we only have, after this week, 3 more weeks of the semester for you to do this assignment. You should already be caught up on all of your lessons. If you're not, again, you only have 3 weeks to get them all done and uploaded to Google Drive so that I can grade them. And then we'll be done for the semester. Okay. I hope you found the assignments and the lessons challenging and invigorating, and hopefully you have have an added interest and appreciation for work done that's in Photoshop. Some of it is pretty easy these days, and some of it remains to be pretty difficult, depending on what you're doing. So that's all I had to say about that. I'm going to go ahead and close these. Again, some of these were from the Library of Congress. Some of these were just simply Google searches. This is a really nice one that I just received from one of you guys. Really, really nice. So what I want to do is, let's see. We don't want that one. What happened to it? What happened to it? Let me bring this back up. What happened to it? Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, because when I show you the video from LinkedIn Learning, I cannot record it from here, but I do have others that are available for you on that I've recorded and made available on Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording.